everybody. Good morning, everybody here in the room. Thank you very much for making the time to come to what is going to be an awesome breakout session. And also, good morning to everybody on the recording online. Thank you also for watching this breakout session. We're going to be talking about how Stellantis is driving innovation with the system of work. And central to that story is teams and teamwork. So it's a real privilege to introduce myself, Chris Davidson, a solutions engineer here at Atlassian, and I'll be handing over to Thomas in the driving seat to introduce himself and take us on our journey today.
Hey, hello, thank you, Chris. Good morning to the room, good morning remote. So let me introduce shortly myself. My name is Thomas Gärtner. I'm working for Stellantis since now 4 years. I'm part of the product development and technology organization. So the focus for my team is for software engineering, and I lead the department about DevOps, cloud technologies inside of the product development technology organization. So what we are doing, everything what is related to supporting engineers, may be on a Kubernetes, may be workbenches available in a cloud, helping developers, helping testers, we are providing. And last but not least, we have our enterprise lifecycle management for software in the organization of itself. So why I'm here, let me introduce a little bit Stellantis and jump over to our system of work. So when it starts introducing Stellantis, it's always like a shy, okay, what is Stellantis doing? So we are a true global leading car maker. And when we come then showing, hey, these are our iconic brands, and it gets more clear. So we have Fiat, Abarth. So we are really global in all the regions of the world. Fiat, Abarth in Europe, as well Citroën, Lancia, Opel, Peugeot, and we have as well in the North American region, like with Ram, with Jeep, a lot of friends all over the world, and love to be part of it. But actually, so in the automotive industry, in these days, it's not so easy. A lot of challenges, a lot of transformation is ongoing. But yes, Stellantis has an answer and a strategy for this. So we call it their Forward 2030. And one part of this is pushing for technology platform. Yeah. The technology platform, we call it, it's an electrical and software platform, we call it Stellar Brain. And Stellar Brain is a platform which enables further elements of platform like a smart cockpit or auto drive. And one of the points of this push in terms of technology is doing more and more software in-house. Yeah? And this is for us a transformation, like a traditional OEM, a big transformation in terms doing the software in-house, having all the tools ready. And this transformation brings up a lot of challenges for us as well. And let me walk you through the challenges. I split it into external and internal challenges. So let me start with the external challenges. I mean, growing competition, rising consumer expectations, having rapidly change in technology, cost pressure. This is kind of normal, this is always there, right? But what we see is that we have competitors, especially in the Chinese region, they have the ability to build and release cars in a shorter time and with a lower invest. And this we need to take serious, right? We want to build our organic brands in the future as well. So these are the external challenges which we need to consider in our way of working, be faster as well. So speed is key, actually. But we have internal challenges as well. Well, when you start doing software by own, then you have additional tools you need to manage, you need to connect. So you need to connect them to your legacy tools, which are existing and dominantly there to have an exchange with the supplier, testing what the supplier gives back to you, checking against the requirements, etc. Now, we are doing the software by own, so that means we need to seamlessly integrate our software build tools to the legacy toolchain as well. So it's a big challenge. Of course, like each big company, we have silos between teams, and especially in data. So this is something we need to overcome as well. Data and formats, there's a small anecdote I can give. So I think it's around about 1.5 years back. So our software engineering leader reached out to my team and said, hey, I was in a status meeting. And in the status meeting, I got reports from 3 different people. One was showing me a PowerPoint presentation, another one was showing me an Excel sheet, and the third one had some notes on a paper. This is something we need to get rid of, right? And we fixed it immediately. We tried to help. We connect the tools together and building dashboards and making triage, for example, for defects better. Last big challenge is traceability. Traceability is like always present in automotive. Since I joined automotive, which is around about 20 years ago, traceability is everywhere and sometimes used for excuses and to don't make progress, but you can. And we need to have, it's a must-have, simply we need to have in our industry. First, to have an overview about how far are you with your requirements, how's the coverage, if everything implemented what was intended, is it working as well, right? But even so in terms of regulations, traceability is a must-have. So what to do with these changes, so we turn it and say, okay, this is our goal to get these things fixed and get the things attacked. So we need, of course, we need to unify our teams, we need to break the silos, we need to break the data silos as well, so we need to have a unified model or a way of working. And the ultimate goal is reduce the time to market. There is no time anymore to stand still and relax. We need to rush. So this was already part of the why. So what to do? What do we need to achieve? When we look to our software development, so we need to increase here and we need to make a good performance. So we will then talk about deployment frequency. Deployment frequency, very important. We need to keep it high. We have a lot of software assets and we need to bring it to our production bay on a very frequent base. Lead time for change as well. Maybe the first I think now, I think I know the direction he wants to go in. So lead time for change as well is a big challenge. So that means from an idea to the feature ready in the production line, the time is very important. Change failure rate is then the third part. So that means, of course, we are human, we're doing errors, we're having bugs in our main line, and we need to measure how much of the deployment bring in an issue or even not. And if we bring in an issue, we measure as well how fast we get it out. So this is then the meantime to recover the bug, right? So thanks to DORA research, these are the metrics which are here so far. So we are following this. We try to implement it on each stage on our organization to measure really our performance in terms of software deployment, software development. And this is what we need to achieve. And with the Atlassian tool chain, we actually introduced in Stellantis. We come then to the how. We will now jump fully to Jira. We are in Jira since around about a year, at least in the evaluation phase. I will come later to this. And even so, working on deployment, make deployments more visible, accessible for everyone in the project.
So today's journey, like a vehicle with an awesome navigation system, we're going to step through 4 steps that will hopefully give you more insights as to how Stellantis have approached this. And best case, you can walk away with some real practical tips about how you can unleash the potential of the system of work for your organization. The outcome, we're going to show you an example of the actual roadmap that Stellantis built. Importantly, roadmaps are not just slides, they are lived journeys. And people and practices and how we move a whole organization and connect people to that roadmap and that journey, Thomas is going to be taking us through his experiences there. That practical approach, the actual practices of how we workshop together, the workshops that we do to build that roadmap, to build that shared understanding, we're going to share with you the actual practices and the ways of working that we did as a team. And then finally, any good plan. We know when you have a plan or a roadmap, once it goes into real life, there are challenges. You adapt, you pivot and adjust. And we're going to have Thomas here to explain how the journey is going so far and share some of those tips and tricks, the learnings from having been on the journey. So let's jump into it. That first step, mapping that pathway. Now, I'm sure many of you will have seen in previous sessions the Atlassian system of work. We talk about these 4 key principles. How do we align work to goals? How do we plan and track work? How do we unleash knowledge? These are principles that have been hard learnt from many thousands of customers, and we've distilled it down. But what does that actually mean when you want to unleash that innovation at scale in the complexity of the sort of organisation that Thomas just described, with the challenges and the environment constraints? Stellantis really did a good job of thinking about the people and the practices, the framework of connecting those people and practices with the technology to get those outcomes, that faster time to market, that giving those team members what they need. And as Thomas said, Stellantis also thought about the idea to impact, almost a zero-based design. To make those vehicles come out better and faster, you have to look at the whole system. So thinking end-to-end was something that Stellantis did. Now, as an outcome, this slide is quite busy. Don't jump into it too much. It's an example. This is the roadmap that we will talk about how we built it. But what really matters is hearing the logic and the thinking that Stellantis put into their roadmap of where they would be today, where they're going tomorrow, and beyond. And so with that, Thomas, take us through how you were thinking with the construction of your journey.
Yeah. So let me start with the today. And when I talk about today, I consider the past year as well. So we started, as I said in the beginning, with the sandbox environment. We made an evaluation because we simply want to get more data and have a comparison between the Jira environment, which was our first intent to get in comparison with our actual working environment. So what we figured out after, I think it took not very long, and the developers were clear from time or day one as well. We were 3 times faster when we come to agile ceremonies. It does not mean that we now in the future have, instead of 30 minutes or 10 minutes, a story refinement, no. So we could really work together on multiple tickets, which was sometimes of a challenge, sometimes with a legacy tool chain, yeah, and in terms of load performance, etc. So this one was one of the outcomes. But we used even so this discovery, getting clear about capabilities, adding more tools to the scope, and having an idea how we can bring them to our development teams and bring them benefits. So, for example, I'm a big fan from Compass. I did software integration over 10, 15 years, and I mean, having a release note is cool. But having a living release note, which is always persistent and bring you data like metrics, scorecards, the quality of the component you have deployed, and having it on a timeline, and you have the possibility to connect it to defects and whatnot. So this is awesome. I love to have this. Yeah. So big fan of this. And so the very next step of today is we kick off to migrate our vehicle, I call it vehicle execution programs in this session here, to get them really on Jira as soon as possible. So we are working hard to get this done. And then we are already in the tomorrow. In the tomorrow, I consider that these programs are already inside of Jira, and we are working heavily with it. Why? Then we can have a look again to our legacy tools, what we want to keep, what we might get canceled or replaced, or when we say, okay, this and that tool is still very important for us, is then connected and connected seamlessly. So, I mean, you were here in the last 2 days. AI is everywhere, and we need to get even so data of our existing tools connected to this teamwork graph. As soon as the execution program's running full speed on the Jira environment, they will produce a lot of data, and we need to process this. Yeah, we need to bring it together and then aggregate it, even so to have good business KPIs. This brings me to beyond. There is a saying since decades. It was saying software is eating the world. I think I find here consensus in the room that this is kind of outdated. I think now AI is eating the world, and this event here shows it's everywhere and can get used everywhere. And automotive industry is perfect for AI. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of narrative data. So we have requirements, we have use cases, description, how the car shall behave, how the feature shall behave, we have then the design, etc., etc. So a lot of things AI can process and help you to do your job faster and help you and extend with the points maybe you have missed to tackle. So perfect for the beyond.
And so, as we heard Thomas describe, that big picture approach, thinking about the foundations and thinking about the vision, that journey began, and obviously Atlassian has a whole range of capabilities and apps to help progress that vision to reality. Many apps. Some may say, too many apps, where do I start? And importantly, when we go back to that people and practices, which parts of the organization and what teams and how will we build that journey with momentum? So the next step is really thinking about those people, the connection to the teams. And the connection to the teams, we know there are organization charts, but work does not necessarily flow up and down, it flows across an organization. And I'm sure when I asked Thomas whether it was just one car or a vehicle from one of the 14 brands, there might be a few teams involved in shipping a vehicle, Thomas?
Oh yes, definitely. So what you can see here is a principle of our topology of stellar brain. So why do I bring this up? It's a technical picture, so it's showing stellar brain like you have on the center top, you have the brain shown, which is the HPC. HPC stands for high performance computer. This is a device which is in the car, right, which has a lot of compute. And it's connected to several ECUs. What is the ECU? It's an electrical control unit inside of a car doing all these things, turning left, turning right, throttle, brake, whatever you want, right? And you have a lot of sensors and actors inside of your car. And we have here the zonals, the purple one in the middle, which are placed depending on the car size, the front, in the center, on the rear. So it's depending on the car size, you can have multiple of these zonal ECUs. And the edge ECUs, which are then sensors and actors, are connected to these regions, yeah, to really shorten the cable. And why I'm telling you this? Because I want to talk about a network of teams. So the software on these devices, it's not everywhere the same. You have different operating systems on each device. So when you look to the HPC, so this is an advanced operating system, POSIX-based, which works very different like one of the purple ones, which is a real-time operating system. So different technologies, and in order to serve these different technologies, you have specific teams. Which are experts in the domain. So that means you have a lot of these different teams, but finally you need to build one car, right? And even so a platform for the whole a portfolio from Stellantis, all the brands. And all these devices need to communicate. Yeah? Communication is key, and if something is not communicating well, the car will not behave correctly. So we need to bring them together, and here it comes against to work management, asset management, to get these things together and exchange information about this. This is why I bring this as a teaser, how big it can be easily to building a car in terms. And this is just software, right? Okay, so how to make this, how to run this in the system of work. So we started starting with the core, with the center, with the core team. This was my team. My team is dominantly enablement team. So we are taking care for infrastructure. We are taking care for onboarding to the infrastructure. We are configuring the workflows. But we are not doing this alone. Part of this core team is our agile strategy team as well. And at this time then, hey, Kelvin, hey, Paco, Kieran, greetings remote to the US. They could not be here, so maybe next time you can be with me on stage. So this is the core team. But this is not enough. We need to add critical partners to the core team as well, so internal partners. So we are not sitting in an ivory tower building whatever we think, and then nothing is working anymore, and the developers are unhappy. We need to have discussion with them. And of course, they're unhappy time to time, right? There are big challenges and a lot of opinions about workflows. I come later to this. But we have the internal teams like quality as well. We have the process teams, we have the agile coaches, testers, etc. So a lot of people across our vehicle programs which want to give a feedback, and we appreciate this feedback. Some will say, okay, why external partners on the slide as well? Why they are part of the core team? Because we are changing the way how we are working with our partners. In the past, as most of you know, so you have a supplier, you give them the requirements, and 3 months later, coming back, delivering the device, having the software inside, and then you have fun to get it running, and then start testing. Yeah? We want to accelerate this, and this is why we integrate them in our environment or connect our environments very closely. We want to have a daily exchange in terms of code development, assets, whatever they produce for us and we find beneficial for us. So really important to have the use cases from them as well, because sometimes they're not part of your corporate network. You need to have then a connection, business-to-business connection, whatever is required, we need to make flying. So we need to have the use cases from them in as well. And of course, part of the partners is Atlassian as well. So especially in the beginning, they gave us orientation, showing us the capabilities and asking the right questions like, okay, how's success look like for you, right? So these were the core level. Now we are going to the next wave, the correlation of the willing. So of course we cannot get anything kicked off without IT. So even so, the cloud environment we are in from Atlassian, it needs to get connected with our environment. Leadership, a really important part, and I consider them part of the internal partners as well, to be honest. So we had extremely good support from our leadership to get the Jira transition kicked off. So Heiko, Marco, thank you for this. They really helped us to go all the challenges we had internally to procure this, to have the environment available. But we have even so then the business units, so we call it internally in Stellantis, so the tech domains, okay? And these are the people from the platform, from the vehicle programs, which are bringing the big scale of people in. So that means take some of them and build with them early adopters, bring them in the environment and get from them early feedback. Really important. Last but not least, of course, procurement as well. So they are important to get the things purchased for us, yeah, and get it online. So next wave. So this is a fun wave, I would call. Keep new teams beside for a second. These are quite normal. New teams always arriving, new projects coming up, going down. But you have even the coming soon team, the top or too busy teams and the off-limits teams. So when they're coming to you and start discussion, there's always a message between the lines. Something is missing, maybe. Or something is wrong, what you did so far. So it means listen to them. They pitch new ideas or simply show you what is not working for them. So take this serious. And this is a never-ending activity. To talk with the new teams, is everything fitting for you, yes or no? All right.
So we have the network of teams, and together, that core team with partners working together, we started the journey with a number of workshops. And I'm just going to talk you through what we did in those workshops, how we collaborated to shape, to co-create this system of work and this roadmap. 3 steps: the ways of working across that network of teams, identifying the most important capabilities, and then making those calls and that business case, the value proposition, prioritizing capabilities. Now, the first step, the team ways of working. As Thomas said, we used POC environments. The workshops that we did, we used a lot of whiteboards. We had a lot of whiteboards. And this is really important because it means that from the minute you engage in the journey, team members are getting hands-on experience and learning with the new capabilities. What might feel like a big journey, we broke down into little chunks. We started with just 3 1.5-hour workshops. And then we iterated, inspected, and adapted. All the while, that network of teams is being used to work out, do we go broader, do we go more narrow, and we're working well as a core team, Stellantis and partners. But really powerful that this first step, these ways of working, you're using that POC environment. People are learning. You're getting quick wins because you're creating knowledge and understanding from the word go. The second step, identifying capabilities. Now let's just level set. The word capability, it can be overloaded, and there are many capabilities out there. We really started just thinking in simple terms. A job to be done. What is the job to be done? Put a noun and a verb together. Intake process. Dependency management. Collaborating as teams, we brought lots of capabilities together. And it can feel like, oh, there's way too many capabilities. This second step, is about identifying those capabilities which represent the most potential value both today, tomorrow, and beyond. And we use capabilities because we don't want to fall in that trap of a tool looking for a problem. We really want to solve those business problems. Now, as I said, we use lots of whiteboards and collaboration in this process. When you have many capabilities, how do you narrow them down? You're looking end to end, as Thomas says, end to end. We actually have, I say voting here, it's more like the emoji generation, everyone, you know, Confluence whiteboards, emojis. We broke down capabilities by different team types. And yes, we did use emojis with the teams to try and almost heat map. Where were those really valuable ones? Where are those really hard ones? And I can't stress enough, as someone that was swimming in post-it notes and emojis for some of this, having a leader, having strong leadership ultimately to make those decisions on what matters today and what matters tomorrow is really helpful. Once we've got this process starting to form and the picture representative, we then have to make some hard decisions. We see the system of work, we wake up every day to help all our customers get the benefit of the whole system of work. It's why we exist, but it's also, there is a lot there. So where do we start? How do we know where to start? We used a very simple prioritization matrix. And in case, just for the recording, we are in Europe, so it's not a spelling mistake. We can use prioritize with an S, so just to check for the recording if any other regions see it. It's okay, it's not a typo on the slides. So yeah, tough calls, right? Because you can't do it all. You have to have something today. Tomorrow cannot be far away, but you do have to break it into steps. And we used a very simple value to effort matrix. This is key for your business case as well. As Thomas was mentioning, you've got leadership, you've got procurement. You have to have strong business value connection. And this process really helped us bring this out. So as we see once again, the end result, the roadmap, it's not just a slide that you're putting up in front of your organization. It's thinking about the vision of the organization you want to be. It's connecting with your network of teams to build momentum and shared understanding and create buy-in and move forward. It's understanding about the capabilities. Where are the quick wins? Where are the things that we will develop over time? So that AI is not so much eating the world, it's unleashing the potential of all of our teams. So we have our roadmap, we have our plan. Today already feels like tomorrow. The journey. How is the journey going?
Yeah, so coming back to our goals, right? How is it doing so far? So the POC, the elevation, everything is completed. We have the data, what we have looked for. So very good. We learned about the capabilities. We kind of, I wouldn't say expert, but we really have a plan going forward, even so how to bring it to our execution programs. Actually, we are implementing the last connectors between the legacy and the actual new environment. And we are really close before to make the migration. And yeah, I mean, when we then talk about migration, we talk immediately about challenges as well. So maybe have someone in the room or remote knowing what I'm talking about. So our programs, they are running on full speed. They need to meet their timelines, they need to meet the milestones. And there's no way to jeopardize these. So that means our migration needs to be planned, and we need to have everything ready when we make the shift. So I call this technical readiness. So this is having the right workflows already in place, having the first iteration of all the reviews we made together in place. So that means the way of working gets already a little bit more simple for the developers, which is good. Having all the connectors in place, being ready for having a big load coming with the execution programs. And this is something we are building currently up, and and this is something really important to get the buy-in from the projects as well for the technical readiness, that they like a sign-off and say, oh, yes, the dashboards are right, the data have been migrated correctly, everything is in place what we need, so let's now really start the migration. This is one of the challenges. When we're talking about unifying teams and data, so coming back now to the opinions of all our internal stakeholders. I mean, I was a long time a developer itself. What was important for me, I need two states, it's open and it's closed, and I need a headline. Everything else is, right? So, but this is not going to work, right? We have different stakeholders besides the devs, so we have the quality, and together with the agile coaches, they need to know, they want to have metrics where we are, they need to know where we are in the part of the end-to-end implementation, right? We need to have the traceability ready, and somewhere on the side there is a validation engineering say, hey, it would be cool to have a software version, right? And so all these things you need to get in. You need to manage the opinions, and having hard discussions, and be clear what is important, what is not important, keep it away. And for example, what we had, our agile team made analysis which field get used how often. And so we have figured out, so there are fields inside of the data flow which never get touched. So get rid of them. No one complained about this, it's empty, so you don't need them, right? Get them out and bring in what really matters. What was, now jumping to the left, to the teams engagement, this was not a challenge to find volunteers helping us to optimize the workflows. Or to bring in new boards, kick off Jira itself, having good ideas from the Scrum Masters, etc., bringing in. This was not a problem and an issue at all, and thank you to the team for the overtime you took and made, and you will see it on the quick wins coming after this, about all the cool boards they did. Last point, traceability. Is it improving? The first step is it running? And is it running under really stress and load? This is what we are doing and what we need to measure as well. The challenge here is more a technical challenge. It's not a mindset challenge or opinions. It's more about technology. Usually the legacy tool chains are not in the cloud. They're somewhere in exactly one region on the globe, in one data center, on-premise running, right? And you need to get connected to there. And this from each point of the globe. And this is a big technical challenge, but I'm looking really positive forward to get this fixed and get this done. All right, let's come to the quick wins. So when we introduced Jira, one of the early access teams were the service desk, which is working in my organization. And what they did by own, immediately they built their own dashboards. Why? Service desks wants to get measures. They want to understand what is going good, what is going wrong. So things like mean time to touch, mean time to resolution, these are the basics. But they started immediately to build up a dashboard, and I think it's around about 20 plus KPIs as of today, what they have. Not just to measure their own performance, but even so, getting an idea, is there some kind of a pattern of issues? Is it performance? Is it connectivity? Right? Is it our product, our front end, what we provide to the devs? Really interesting to see that they built it by own without having any ask from my side, so they really good engaged from their side. The same thing with my complete roadmap team. So from the program management, we have a board as well showing, so we are around about 100 people, 12 teams. And for me, we had always a roadmap, somewhere on a whiteboard, somewhere on a spreadsheet, or somewhere in Confluence, right? Now we have it in Jira. And the cool thing is, I can change priority each week, and then it gets reflected immediately in the roadmap. And it shows me, okay, do you have capacity for this? Yes, no. And you get enforced to make decisions. And this is really good and helpful for the teams as well, because they get guidance and direction. Definitely quick win. Next quick win, so this was, I'm really keen about Confluence, and the most of the engineers in Stellantis as well. So all the architects, we are all putting what is in the brain into Confluence. And the good thing is now having Rovo available inside of Confluence, like a chat. You don't get, when you ask something, a list of 20 pages, which might contain the answer, and then you need to go through. No, you get directly the answer. So I told you what is Stellar Brain, and I asked this Rovo itself. It's from our content, from Stellantis content, the answer is built, and it's quite accurate and really precise. So I love it. It will help. So step in the shoes of a new joiner. He can ask this, and he get directly the feedback, and he can ask us for other things as well. So now coming to the lesson learned. I think the most important thing what I would tell everyone is don't copy what you have today. Don't make a copy of this. This will fail because you need to understand the new capabilities. You need to prove the new capabilities in your context. Again, get clear about what is important, what not, and kick out what is not important or what is slowing you down, whatever. Define the vision and the roadmap. Set a clear vision. It was really cool working with the Atlassian team to build up this vision, to talk with all my teams, what they need. So a lot of iteration with my program team, for example, how to build a roadmap. Our Scrum Master really dive deep into the capabilities to get the things fixed, many iterations, and comes a manager like me and say, oh, no. and then next iteration, and actually I'm super happy to have it. Last but not least, having the tool is not everything. Map it together with your stakeholders. Maintaining the frequent communication with them. Ask the questions. Don't shy away for having bad feedback as well. So I think I have something in my inbox. I have seen this today in the morning. That's some complaint about all these millions of states, which we have simplified already. But well, this is again opinions, and we will talk with this person, and hopefully we can help him.
I think my takeaway from the experience working is very much, it is about the journey as much as the destination. And you start, you can start straight away, and how you start and how you engage, I mentioned all those workshops, like that is the process of realizing the benefit. And certainly with the whiteboards that I shared, for anybody after this talk, I'm more than happy to share some of the templates that we use for those workshops as well to help you get started on your journey and unleash the potential of your teams.
All right, then we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you very much. Thank you to the audience here in the room. Thank you, remote, joining this session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.